What's up, everybody? It's Stuck in Carbonite, and today I have a huge haul I'd like to share with you guys. It is very G.I. Joe heavy, and there's a reason for that. And if I'm being honest, I think there's only one other item that is not related to G.I. Joe. I went to a G.I. Joe convention this past weekend, or a G.I. Joe themed convention, I should say. But before that, this is the stuff I picked up, leading up to the event. So I think this goes back probably 2 weeks, maybe. But I just wanted to share these three figures because they're awesome, and I haven't really talked about them much. And I intended to make a video on, my pickups, you know, from these past couple weeks or so, but I just haven't. I haven't been picking up much stuff. I've been laying back just a little bit, but I kind of went heavy, all within, the span of 2 or 3 weeks. So yeah, on the left here we have the brand new G.I. Joe Classified Retro Scarlet, phenomenal figure, and in the middle we have the Mezco 112 Destro, and he is literally perfect. This is the best Destro figure, I think, possibly, maybe. I don't have any other versions besides the vintage, the 25th Rise of Cobra, and a couple classifieds. So I don't have any like sideshow and I think the 3-0 one comes out this July. I might get that, but we'll see. But I do think that this version is superb. It has literally exceeded my expectations, and I think the accessories are great. I think they got the look just right. You get three different head sculpts, and this it's my first ever Mezco. I'm completely blown away, and the fact that I got this thing for like $60 off of Amazon is even better. I totally see why these type of figures are worth so much, or why they cost so much, because there is a lot of detail, and for the price you pay, I think that uh, the the value is there for sure. There's a lot of detail, a lot of intricacies. The weapons, some of them can be taken apart. They have removable magazines with like actual, shells painted on the inside. I mean, it's really cool, and I think that they absolutely nailed it with this Destro, and I'm super happy with that one. And my girlfriend, she helped me with Bazooka. She picked them up for me while she was out at Ross. Supposedly Ross had a few bazookas for $6. You can't go wrong. I didn't intend on picking up this bazooka in the first place, but I already have the regular, the OG 1985 style bazooka from Classified. I already have that, but I can't go wrong with another bazooka, especially for $6, a Classified figure at that. If you can find them that cheap at Ross, you might as well pick them up. I think he'll look great with my Outback and my Recondo. I got some more Tiger Force dudes, so he'll fit just perfectly with them. So, with that being said, we'll move on to the things I got from the con. So, this past weekend, like I said, my girlfriend and I, we attended Fayetteville Comic Con. This was in Fayetteville, North Carolina. They had a G.I. Joe theme for their con, and I've been going to this con for a few years now. I think my first one I did was back in 2018, and I've enjoyed it since. I think that it's definitely not the biggest con, but I think they do a great job at really advertising everything nerdy. You got it. If you like anime, they got it. You like Star Wars, they got it. Transformers, you name it. Power Rangers, video games. These guys try to cover a lot of things, like most Comic Cons, and I really do appreciate that. So if you're a fan of anything within that realm, even pop culture, I mean, they got it there. There's plenty of vendors that carry a wide variety of really awesome products. Sometimes, things that you really can't find in stores. And that's what's really awesome about these conventions to me is I get to see things that I don't normally see on a daily basis. And I also get to meet people that I would never meet anywhere else. You know what I mean? And I feel like I am truly, honored to have met the people that I did meet there. And I think we did have a great time. And, conversating with other people that have, you know, the same, interest as you. You know what I mean? They like the same properties you do, and, they care about it just as much. And to see other people like minded, especially supporting a brand or, a storyline or a character, it's really awesome to meet people like that and to also meet the people that worked on those characters and those storylines. So yeah, just keep me from rambling on and on. Let's just get into the haul. First up, my one and only figure I purchased. I know, I'm surprised myself. There were a lot of Star Wars figures that I saw, some 3 3/4 inch figures that I was super tempted to pick up. This one booth had a crazy amount of clone troopers and stormtroopers that were loose. I was about to do a bundle they had. I think it was like 3 for 25. They had a lot of battle droids I was looking at, and there was a sand trooper that I really liked, but I decided to pass. I do have versions of some of those figures, just not out on display. But you gotta save where you can. You know what I mean? Because I feel like those figures would be easier to find than the stuff that I got. So yeah, my one and only figure is the 1986 Lowlight from the G.I. Joe A Real American Hero toy line. So yeah, I don't have many vintage Joes, but Lowlight is definitely one of my favorites. I knew I needed this character, and yes, he's not complete. And he does have a slight crack on his elbow. I don't know if you can tell, but the gun's kind of blocking it. But it's all right. It's nothing detrimental. The figure's still intact, and I know that this is not his rifle. He actually comes with a sniper rifle with a bipod. This is just an M16 with a giant scope on it. It kind of fits him, so I'm not mad. But, for the price, I could not beat it. I saw him at a comic shop last year, and, I had to pass on him. It's just too much for a complete low light. And, I'm not looking for complete figures. I just want cool representations of characters that I like from G.I. Joe. And that was one that I was willing to pay for. I think it was a fair price. So yeah, now that we got him out of the way, I guess we'll get into the other things I bought. First up, I met Brian Shearer. He is a comic book artist that mainly works on Transformers and G.I. Joe, most notably for me. But he's all over the place. He works on many different brands, and I feel like his artwork for G.I. Joe and Transformers has been, just astonishing. He does a great job. He had a few prints there of his work there that he was selling, and he even signed it for me. So, yeah, I got Jetfire, and I thought that this was a great image. And here, let me see if I can move the camera some so you can see it. So yeah, really cool artwork here, and the reason why I went with Jetfire, and there's a signature down there at the bottom, but the reason I went with Jetfire is one, he's one of my favorite Autobots. I love Jetfire, the character. I love his story, how he was once a Decepticon, now turned back to the good side with the Autobots. And, I asked Brian, I was, real calm and collective dude. It was really a pleasure meeting the guy. He was very chill. And, yeah, so I asked him, I was like, I know you probably get this question a lot, and I know, it might irritate you if I ask you, but I was like, do you like G.I. Joe or Transformers more? And he was like, well, no, never mind. I said it like this. I said, which one do you like to draw more? I was like, G.I. Joes or Transformers? And he said, Transformers all day. He was like, I actually like drawing the robots more than I do, the humans. And I was like, that is completely valid. And I was like, out of respect, I said, I think I'm going to get one of your Transformers prints because they look great. Not saying his G.I. Joe art was terrible. It was great. I mean, it was phenomenal. It's just, I thought that Jetfire really spoke to me. And we had a conversation about him and how the, origin of his character came to be, his design, and how it was from Robotech, Macross, and how he designed that particular piece off the toy. So yeah, it definitely was a very cool conversation, and I'm glad I was able to meet him. So yeah, next up, I got some comics. I guess I'll show the last comic I got first, because it is definitely the most beat up and probably the worst condition, but I think it has a little bit of character to it, and I kind of bought it for that reason. But this was the issue. This is G.I. Joe issue 14. This was the issue I was going to have Larry Hama sign. I don't have, I'd never had this copy, but this is the first appearance of Destro, and Destro is one of my favorite, characters in G.I. Joe of all time. So I knew that this had a very special place in my heart, especially with this cover, because the APC is on it. And if you do not know, the APC is a very underrated vehicle in my opinion. I think that it is super awesome, very practical, and by far one of my favorite vehicles in all of G.I. Joe. So to have two of my favorite G.I. Joe things on one cover and have Larry Hama sign it, I thought it was a win-win situation. But as you can see, there's like some type of stain here from some type of drink, I suppose. But for the price I paid for it, I'm not going to complain. For a vintage comic, I mean, it gives it some character. But yeah, super glad to have a number 14. And yes, I have not read all of the G.I. Joe comics, but I have a good grasp of the characters, and I really appreciate, what Larry has done, writing these characters, giving them life. So I'm really trying to finish, reading all throughout the Real American Hero run. And, I think that, his work and basically all the other people that helped make, Real American Hero a thing, it's definitely ahead of its time. And I think now as we get older, we're starting to appreciate it even more and more day by day. So yeah, I had to get another iconic cover from A Real American Hero, and this is issue number 63 with Scarlet and Snake Eyes. I thought that this was a super cool cover, and I don't know how much this particular book goes for on eBay or anything, but I'm happy with what I paid for it. I don't think I paid too much. I don't think I paid too little. So I thought it was a fair price, so I jumped on it. So yeah, definitely had to get that. And last but not least, this, I simply, and call me crazy, but I had to get this cover signed by Larry Hama. This is issue number 38. And yeah, it has Storm Shadow and Destro on it. I've always loved this cover, and, two of my favorite characters, in all of Joe. So yeah, I thought that with this, the solid yellow background, I thought the signature would pop. It's a lot more visible than my other Larry Hama signature on my other comic. So yeah, I thought this was awesome. And meeting Larry again was truly amazing. He was in a great mood. He's doing well. Was able to chat with him for a little bit longer than I did last time. And he really liked our shirts that we were wearing. So that was cool that he appreciated that. And he let me get a picture with him as well. So yeah, super cool to meet him. That was my second time meeting him, and, great guy. If you haven't met Larry, if you can, go meet him. If you're a fan of Joe, you definitely need to meet this guy because he has written all of your favorite G.I. Joe characters and wrote the file cards for them too. So, yeah. And last but not least, I actually met this guy before I met Larry, but this one's really special for me. If you do not know who this is, I'm going to kind of keep this brief because I'm rambling again. But this is a print from Ron Rudat. If you don't know Ron Rudat, he designed a lot of the figures from A Real American Hero from the 82 to 94 run. He kind of dropped off in 87, but picked back up a few years later. And, I mean, his contribution to G.I. Joe as a whole is tremendous. And I was just super happy to meet him. And if you did not know, he actually designed the first ever Cobra insignia. So their logo, he designed that. A lot of those early figures, he designed that. Estimated around 140 figures that he created for the line is truly, truly something to commend. And I really think that, his work is just, untouched. I mean, it's super awesome. I don't think anybody can really recreate what he did. And, the fact that some of these characters were based off of people they knew, And Storm Shadow is one of my favorites, so I got the print of Storm Shadow, and plus it has the Cobra logo in the background. So something that he designed. And, he also has his G.I. Joe Finest, the costuming club. He signed that card and threw it in there for me as well. So, yeah. And he even personalized it and said, "Hail Cobra." So I really dig that. I was already stoked that I saw Larry Hama and I got to see Mr. Rudat for the first time. But I was also super excited to see Mr. Carson Maxis of 3DJoes. This guy was simply awesome. He was super kind, super joyful, honestly, to be there to support Joe and to be beside, legends at his booth. Larry and Ron were right beside him, and Mr. Brian Shearer as well. So they're all there together on the same row, and, just his true passion for G.I. Joe definitely showed. And, you know, if you don't know what 3DJoes is, it's a website he created a while back now. It's been around for years. Basically, what it is it's an online database to basically preserve the art of G.I. Joe. And it's everything from 82 to 94, all of the figures, the play sets, the vehicles, the artist, like anything you want to see, and pictures and detailed descriptions of everything is on that website. This guy is literally full of knowledge, and he has done his research and has definitely, given credit to those that deserve it, and and to those that actually worked on those pieces of art. So if you ever want to check out his website, please do. It is super awesome. He also has posters. He just released the Omnibus, the Art of G.I. Joe Omnibus. It is beautiful, and I got to actually see it in person. And his work is truly outstanding, and I don't think he gives himself enough credit for the work he's done, especially the fact that he's worked decades on preserving and gathering as much knowledge on the brand, and actually interviewing the creators as well. So yeah, he was the host of the panel we went to, and the people that attended the panel were Carson, of course, Larry Hama was there, Ron Rudat was there, and also Jim Shooter. And if you don't know Jim Shooter, he was the editor-in-chief at Marvel at that time that Larry worked on the brand. So it was great, to see him there, because I don't think he gave himself enough credit as well. He was super humble, but he's always talking about how, like, throughout the entire panel, he was like, Ron and Larry did all the work. It's like, yes, they did a lot of work, but if it wasn't for his leadership, for him putting the right people, in the right place at the right time, I don't think the magic would have happened, So it's truly outstanding to hear them talk about Joe from their perspective, and, what their experiences were like, even through, the good and the bad times. So it was awesome experience. I'm super thankful, super grateful. And, after talking with Carson, I don't know. It's like he appreciates everything G.I. Joe. He appreciates the people that love G.I. Joe. And to me, that's what building a fandom is like, And I know that, I'm a huge Star Wars guy, and, you see that within the Star Wars community, but I've never felt that with G.I. Joe before. So to experience that, kind of like for the first time with other people was outstanding. And, from his booth, I grabbed a little item. So there's the box for it. It weighs about 20 pounds. It's humongous. And, yeah, I don't think I'll show it off in this video. But, yeah, I made a purchase from 3DJoes. And I would love to show it off within the next few videos here. But, yeah, I'm not going to give it away just yet. But if you've watched any reviews on that item, and if you follow 3DJoes, you probably know what that thing is. But I definitely want to make a pretty, good video about that particular item in that box. So yeah, I'm sorry if I rambled too much. I just had a great time with wonderful people. Glad that my girlfriend could attend with me, and we just, celebrate the world of G.I. Joe, and, other things as well. So yeah, it was a great con. I think we both had a great time. A lot of cool things. I appreciate Fayetteville Comic Con for hosting something like this and really taking, a chance with Joe as being their theme. Because you really don't see it much anymore, especially for us, since we've never been to a Joe Con or a Joe Fest. I think this is the next best thing to it. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I appreciate all of you for the love and the support, and for for all of you subscribers, the continual watchers. I appreciate you. So yeah, thank you, and I hope you all have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.